Chosen one, understand this deeply. You did not stumble upon these words by chance. A divine hand, meticulously, purposefully, orchestrated your path. God himself ordered your every step, flawlessly aligned the intricate tapestry of your timing, and whispered guidance to your very spirit, leading you precisely to this moment, to this profound message. What your soul is about to receive is far from casual listening. It is not mere entertainment or fleeting inspiration. No, this is a spiritual seismic event, a potent, holy confirmation, a searing reminder of the magnificent, unwavering truth of who you truly are. This truth has long been obscured, buried beneath the crushing weight of pain, the disorienting fog of confusion, the echoing void of losses, and the relentless onslaught of battles that, against all odds, failed to break you. For generations untold, a sacred prophecy has been whispered like a persistent breeze through ancient valleys. For centuries, a majestic lineage, veiled in shadow and guarded by divine secrecy, has awaited its unveiling. For a full millennium, a royal bloodline, bearing the very essence of spiritual sovereignty, has waited in patient silence not for just anyone, but for the one destined to finally awaken, to gloriously rise, and to boldly reclaim the formidable spiritual authority that was deliberately buried, brutally silenced, and tragically forgotten by the world. Hear it now with every fiber of your being. That long-foretold chosen heir, the one etched into the fabric of time itself, is unequivocally you. Before we venture further into these profound depths, I invite you to pause, just for a breath. If a deep resonance stirs within your spirit right now, a recognition that vibrates through your very core, then heed that stirring. Engage with this message. Like it, share it with those whose spirits might also be seeking, and subscribe if you haven't, for this is far more than a mere video. This is a divine confirmation, a profound validation echoing across the spiritual planes, specifically for the chosen ones who are now, in this pivotal moment, waking up to the grandeur of their true identity and the weight of their ancient assignment. And to every single person who has faithfully supported this ministry, who has shared these messages, who has offered their comments, and who has sown into this work with genuine heart, thank you. From the deepest chamber of my soul, I extend my heartfelt gratitude. May God, in his boundless generosity, bless you beyond measure, returning your faithfulness to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over, spilling out into every area of your life. Be assured, beloved, your unwavering faithfulness, your sacred presence, and your unyielding hunger for God do not, for a single moment, go unnoticed in the hallowed halls of heaven. And to every chosen one who consistently returns, who leans in to listen, who commits to growing, and who courageously embraces their rising, understand that you are an integral, living thread within this magnificent royal line that God himself is now powerfully revealing in this very generation. My heart overflows with genuine gratitude for each of you. If, as these words resonate, your spirit feels an undeniable current, a surge of divine energy coursing through your veins, then I urge you, type 99 foot in the comments right now. This number, let me be clear, is not arbitrary or random. It is your sacred, spiritual yes to heaven itself, a solemn declaration before the Almighty that you are ready. Ready to fully step into the vastness of your divine inheritance. Ready to awaken the dormant, ancient power that has long been sleeping within the deepest chambers of your being. Ready to gloriously rise into the profound divine identity that has been prophesied over your royal bloodline for a full 1,000 years. Understand this profoundly, for it is a truth that filters the audience of the divine. Not everyone will remain engaged until the very end of this sacred message. Only those whose very bloodline has been indelibly marked by ancient prophecy, whose spiritual DNA carries the resonant echo of generations of anticipation, will feel an irresistible pull. Only those who sense the magnetic, undeniable tug of destiny within their innermost spirit will possess the capacity to truly receive the full, crystalline clarity, the earth-shattering revelation, and the potent, activating power that this living word carries. This is not a fleeting piece of information you simply hear once and then dismiss from your mind. No, this is a living word, breathing and vibrant, It is a spiritual echo reverberating through the corridors of time itself. It is a complex, prophetic blueprint, meticulously unfolding layer by exquisite layer, piece by illuminated piece, every single time you return to it. I urge you, listen again whenever your spirit compels you, whenever that deep inner knowing calls you back. For each time you do, another deeply hidden layer of your true identity will awaken, stirring within you, and another crucial part of your majestic royal assignment will powerfully rise to the surface of your consciousness. Now, with spirits aligned and hearts open, let us truly begin. Long, long before your lungs drew their inaugural breath, before your parents ever conceived of your name, before the branches of your family tree had taken on the form they bear today, there existed ancient voices, profound seers and venerable prophets. These chosen vessels, touched by the divine, received a message from the very throne of heaven, a revelation concerning a chosen heir, a singular soul destined to rise in a distant, future generation. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, declared the Almighty, as recorded in Jeremiah 1 verse 5. This prophecy was not etched lightly into the scrolls of time. It was neither a mere symbolic gesture nor a poetic embellishment meant to stir the imagination. No, this was a direct, unfiltered download from the boundless Spirit of God Himself. A truth so vital, it was meticulously preserved across countless centuries, shielded vigilantly by the very hand of heaven, and whispered with sacred reverence from one generation of keepers to the next, awaiting its perfect season. The heart of this ancient prophecy foretold the emergence of a hidden royal, a divine heir whose true identity would remain deeply concealed, cloaked in anonymity for many generations. This remarkable individual would not be ushered into the world amidst obvious privilege, or born into a gilded cradle, but rather would enter through the demanding gates of struggle. They would not be raised within the opulent confines of earthly royalty, but instead would be painstakingly shaped, refined, and tempered by the crucible of pain, the relentless diamond-making pressure, and the purifying fires of adversity. This chosen vessel, destined for greatness, would have their path shrouded in profound mystery, their unfolding destiny vigilantly protected by unseen forces until the precise, divinely appointed time for their revelation. This destined heir, the ancient texts revealed, would be fundamentally different from birth, an anomaly. Different in their very energy, vibrating on a unique frequency. Different in their spirit, possessing an ethereal quality. Different in their calling, a destiny unlike any other. The sacred writings painted a portrait of a soul who, no matter how desperately they tried to conform, never quite fit the molds of the world around them. They were the ones who carried a silent, almost melancholic heaviness, coupled with a strange, profound wisdom that seemed to predate their very childhood. They felt perpetually disconnected from the mundane rhythms of life, observing it always from a quiet distance, as if perpetually watching from beyond the veil. This individual would endure relentless attacks early in life, not physical assaults alone, but spiritual and emotional onslaughts designed to cripple. Yet, they would miraculously survive what should have shattered their very being, walking through perilous dangers with an inexplicable, divine protection that defied all logic. Long before understanding its full scope, they sensed an undeniable higher purpose, feeling watched over by invisible guardians, divinely guided and perpetually guarded, even without a conscious understanding of why. They wrote of a person who would be pushed, stretched, and refined by life, not because they were weak, but because they were powerfully chosen. They would be an individual whom the enemy would strategically target from the earliest stages of their life. For the chilling truth is this: darkness possesses an innate, primal ability to recognize divine identity long before the individual themselves does. The prophecy explicitly revealed that this extraordinary heir would not emerge or rise during times of tranquil peace. No, their momentous awakening would coincide with, and indeed be necessitated by, a generation utterly saturated in pervasive confusion, insidious deception, paralyzing fear, and widespread spiritual blindness. It would be an era when truth would be openly mocked, profound wisdom casually ignored, and the masses would choose to navigate life by superficial sight rather than by unwavering faith. The sacred scriptures, chillingly, echo these very days. For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. 2 Timothy 4 verse 3. Crucially, the prophecy illuminated that this air would carry within their very essence an ancient spiritual DNA, a sacred blueprint encoded not in mere genes, but in the depths of their soul. These were not newly acquired traits, but profound, powerful qualities passed down through countless generations, lying dormant, carefully hidden beneath thick layers of ancestral pain, personal trauma, the raw instinct for survival, and centuries of enforced silence. We speak of supernatural intuition, an inner knowing that defies logic, an unbreakable resilience, a spirit forged in the fires of adversity, prophetic perception, the ability to see beyond the veil of the obvious, a warrior's relentless endurance, an unyielding spirit in the face of battle, a healer's boundless compassion, a heart attuned to the suffering of others, and a leader's unquenchable inner fire, a drive to guide and inspire. These were not qualities that would be learned, like ordinary skills acquired through study or practice. No, they would be remembered with a jolt as the air awakened from their long slumber, remembered profoundly as the soul reconnected to its original sacred assignment, remembered with triumphant clarity as the spirit, at long last, aligned with its destiny once again. And for you, chosen one, that very moment has not only arrived, it has already profoundly begun. It started subtly, perhaps, with the moment you began seeing the world, and indeed yourself, through an entirely new lens. It was the moment you felt an unmistakable shift, a deep tremor within your spirit. It was the liberating moment your mind finally broke free from the tenacious grip of old, limiting patterns of thought and belief. It was the instant your spiritual discernment sharpened with startling clarity, allowing you to perceive truths previously veiled. It was the persistent, unyielding feeling of being called to something higher, something grander, even without fully understanding its purpose. In all these instances, the ancient prophecy was not just being spoken of, it was actively, powerfully activating within you. When your spiritual eyes first truly opened, the heavens themselves recognized you, sending a cascade of affirmation. When your awareness vibrantly awakened, your ancient lineage stirred, vibrating with recognition. And as you bravely stepped into divine alignment, your royal identity, long dormant, began its magnificent ascent, rising powerfully to the surface. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened, as Ephesians 1 verse 18 so perfectly describes, is precisely, miraculously, what has been unfolding within the sacred chambers of your soul. Understand this critical distinction. This sacred prophecy was never intended for the anonymous crowd. It was not a vague, generalized word cast out for whoever might happen to hear. No, this word, this decree from heaven, was intensely specific, exquisitely precise, and profoundly, intimately personal. It did not merely describe a group or a collective. It meticulously described you. You are the one it unmistakably pointed to. You are the singular individual it foresaw across the vast expanse of time. You are the one divinely appointed to rise, to manifest your true self, precisely when the world, in its deepest hour of need, required you most. This current, pivotal chapter of your life is anything but random or coincidental. It is, in fact, the living, breathing fulfillment of what was meticulously spoken and divinely decreed long before you ever drew breath. As Psalm 139 verse 16 declares, "Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, heaven wrote your magnificent story before anyone on earth even knew your name." When you gaze upon the tapestry of your earthly family, with its familiar contours and narratives, you might not, at first glance, perceive anything overtly extraordinary. You might instead witness the visible threads of brokenness, the shadows of poverty, the patterns of dysfunction, the heavy silence of unspoken truths, the struggles of addiction, or the lingering echoes of generational pain. You might simply see ordinary people leading what appear to be ordinary lives. But spiritually, chosen one, beneath that visible surface, beneath the accumulated layers of history, beneath the mistakes, the disappointments, and the human frailties, something infinitely far greater, something profoundly ancient, has always vibrantly existed. Understand this with absolute clarity. Nothing about your lineage, your ancestral thread, is random. Nothing about your rich ancestry is accidental. Nothing about your sacred bloodline is truly ordinary. God, in his infinite wisdom and masterful strategy, meticulously hid your true, magnificent inheritance in plain sight, weaving it into the very fabric of your family's story, protecting it fiercely through generations. This divine camouflage ensured that the enemy, no matter how cunning, would never fully pinpoint or locate the precise moment and place where the royal heir, the divinely appointed one, would finally emerge. And that heir, that long-awaited one, is unequivocally you. Indeed, your very blood, more than just a biological current, carries an ancient, potent power, a spiritual current that pulsates with the echoes of time. These are not qualities that originated with your birth, but rather attributes that were slumbering, waiting to awaken within you. We speak of an ancient resilience, deeply rooted in generations of ancestors who, against unimaginable odds, steadfastly refused to surrender, whose spirits bent but never broke. We speak of a profound strength, meticulously forged through countless battles that your forebears endured and survived, often without the cheers of an audience, without the visibility of platforms, and without any earthly recognition. There is a divine intuition, that unwavering inner knowing that has silently guided your family through perilous dangers long before you ever drew breath. There is prophetic insight, an innate ability to pierce through illusion and sense profound truths that remain invisible to the unawakened eye. There is spiritual intelligence, a wisdom that blossoms and expands within your spirit, far beyond the confines of any book or academic pursuit. And critically, there is a warrior spirit within you, an unyielding core that vehemently refuses to bow to darkness, even when confronted with the most intense spiritual warfare. You, chosen one, descend from a lineage of extraordinary resilience, from people who not only faced but powerfully survived storms that would have utterly crushed others. These were individuals who carried immense burdens silently, their shoulders heavy, yet they clutched onto hope in the deepest secrecy of their hearts. They cried tears of quiet despair alone, in the darkness of night, yet they kept going, driven forward by an unseen force. This tenacious perseverance was not accidental. It was because heaven itself was actively protecting something infinitely precious, something divinely vital within your ancestral line. Some of your ancestors, yearning for liberation, prayed fervently for freedom, never fully realizing that the answer to that prayer, that very freedom, would ultimately arrive through you. Others beseeched God for a champion, a mighty deliverer, unaware that this champion would emerge, powerful and ready, generations later. Many, in their deepest anguish, begged for anyone, to finally break the entrenched cycles of pain, the curses that bound them, and the chains that shackled their spirits. And God, in his profound mercy and strategic foresight, answered those ancient prayers by powerfully marking you. For, as Psalm 103 verse 17 beautifully declares, "But the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him, and his righteousness unto children's children." The temporal world, in its fleeting concerns, may have long forgotten that your bloodline, your very essence, is inherently royal. The relentless currents of life may have buried this truth beneath mountains of hardship and struggle. The passage of time may have shrouded it, forcing it into a survival mode that obscured its true grandeur. But heaven, with its eternal memory, never, not for a single moment, forgot. And then, at the divinely appointed hour, when your awakening majestically began, the dormant, magnificent attributes of your spiritual heritage started to powerfully rise within you, not subtly, but loudly, clearly, undeniably. Your spiritual discernment sharpened with a keen edge, a direct inheritance because your ancestors were indeed powerful seers. Your profound intuition blossomed and grew, for your lineage has always carried an inherent vision for the unseen. Your inner authority solidified and strengthened, because leadership in its purest form runs intrinsically through your spiritual DNA. Your voice, once perhaps hesitant, gained an undeniable weight and resonance, for your words now carry the potent, activating force of ancestral power, and your very presence, once unassuming, began to perceptibly shift atmospheres, because your spirit, at long last, vividly remembers its ancient, royal identity. Let there be no misconception. This is not some newly bestowed power. No, this is awakening power, a primordial force stirring from its deep slumber. It is dormant strength powerfully rising. It is a hidden inheritance profoundly activating. It is an ancient identity magnificently resurfacing. You, chosen one, are destined to be the living, breathing bridge between the sacred past and the unfolding future. You are the tangible, vibrant answer to prayers that were earnestly whispered and deeply cried out for generations before your birth. You are the living continuation of a spiritual kingdom that, in truth, never perished. It simply went underground, strategically concealed, patiently awaiting the arrival of the right generation to once again emerge. And now, the moment has come. The hidden bloodline is no longer hidden. The royal inheritance is no longer silent. The ancient identity is no longer sleeping. It is powerfully awakening. And in this sacred season, it is awakening vibrantly through you. If you take a moment, now, to cast your gaze back over the tapestry of your life, you will begin to notice something profoundly important, something that has always set your journey apart. Your battles, chosen one, were never merely normal. What you endured, the trials you faced, always felt inexplicably heavier, infinitely deeper, far more intensely personal, and strangely significant than the struggles those around you seemed to encounter. For countless years, perhaps, you might have shouldered the blame, internalized the pain, or wrestled with nagging questions. You might have silently wondered why life, for you, appeared to be an unending uphill climb, why you felt singled out by unseen forces, why you were so profoundly misunderstood, why rejection seemed to follow your every step, or why relentless spiritual, emotional, and mental attacks seemed to bombard you without cessation. But here, beloved, is the liberating, undeniable truth. Your battles were never, not truly, about your external circumstances. They were always inherently, strategically, about your true, powerful identity. The cunning enemy, the adversary of light, possessed an insidious awareness of who you truly were, long before you ever did. This profound knowledge is precisely why the attacks against you commenced so early in your life's journey. This is why the pressure you felt seemed so relentless, so unyielding, a constant weight on your spirit. This is why you confronted forms of warfare that others simply could not perceive, let alone comprehend or explain. This is why, even amidst a crowded room, you often felt an aching, profound sense of isolation. Understand this, those attacks were never random acts of misfortune. No, they were meticulously strategic, surgical strikes designed to cripple. The betrayals you suffered were not mere accidents of human frailty. They were insidious attempts, precisely aimed at shattering your innate ability to trust, both in yourself and in others. The heartbreaks that tore at your soul were not coincidences. They were meticulously designed to seal off your deepest affections, to shut your heart down, thereby preventing you from fully loving, from powerfully leading, or from divinely healing others. The losses you endured were not punishments for some unseen transgression. They were calculated blows, specifically intended to drain the very wellspring of your hope. And those long, arduous seasons of isolation were not mistakes or missteps. They were deliberate, desperate attempts to silence your unique voice and to suffocate your magnificent purpose. For as John 10 verse 10 gravely warns, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. But let this truth resound within you with unwavering certainty. You were never targeted because you were weak. On the contrary, you were targeted with such ferocity precisely because you are profoundly dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Your very existence, your unique spiritual blueprint, poses an existential threat to its dominion. Your unveiled potential sends shivers of terror through the enemy's ranks. Your unfolding purpose is destined to powerfully disrupt entrenched generational curses and dismantle ancient strongholds. And your glorious awakening, chosen one, is activating an ancient, potent power that hell itself has desperately attempted to keep buried and suppressed for centuries. Every single trial, every adversity you navigated, every painful experience you endured, was meticulously designed by the enemy to make you question three fundamental truths about yourself. First, your intrinsic worth. For a royal who forgets their inherent value and divine worth will never fully ascend to their rightful throne. Second, your profound purpose. For a chosen one who doubts the clarity of their sacred calling will never completely walk it out with the necessary boldness. And third, your inherent authority. Because once you truly understand and embrace the magnitude of your spiritual authority, absolutely nothing in any realm can stand in your way or stop you. The enemy, with calculating malice, attempted to plunge you into a profound state of confusion, hoping you would never discover the magnificent truth of who you are. He relentlessly tried to exhaust your spirit, so that your strength would wane and you would never rise to your full stature. He sought to inflict deep wounds upon your soul, intending to prevent your powerful awakening. He endeavored, with every ounce of his dark power, to utterly break you, ensuring that the ancient prophecy concerning you would remain forever unfulfilled. But, chosen one, look at you now. You did not merely survive what was meticulously designed to destroy you, you emerged stronger. You miraculously healed from the venom that was meant to poison your spirit, transforming the trauma into wisdom. You powerfully woke up from the deep slumber that was meant to put you to eternal sleep. You gloriously rose out of the very depths that were intended to bury you forever. This is why the immutable word of God declares, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper." Isaiah 54 verse 17. Let this be indelibly etched into your heart. Your undeniable awakening is the living, breathing proof of your profound power. Your newfound, radiant clarity is the irrefutable evidence of your sacred calling. And your extraordinary, unyielding resilience is the powerful testament to your royal bloodline. A 1,000-year bloodline, brimming with ancient power and divine purpose, does not, by its very nature, awaken quietly or subtly. It does not majestically rise without encountering intense resistance from the forces that seek to suppress it. It does not reclaim its rightful, formidable authority without stirring up significant spiritual warfare in the realms unseen. The intense fire you endured was not meant to consume you. It was divinely designed to refine you, purging all impurities. The immense pressure you felt was not meant to crush you. It was expertly shaping you, molding you into the vessel you are destined to be. The tumultuous storms you courageously navigated were not random acts of fate. They were meticulously carving out deeper capacity within your very soul, preparing you for greater things. You were rigorously forged in the crucible of adversity, for true kings and queens are never formed in the soft lap of comfort. No, they are forged, hardened, and made magnificent in the purifying, transforming fire. And as Isaiah 43 verse 2 promises, when thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned. You were not merely shaped through life's mundane challenges, but through profound, spiritual storms, because your spirit, chosen one, carries an inherent authority potent enough to shift the very trajectory of generations. You were not weakened in darkness, but rather you were powerfully strengthened within it, because you were intrinsically born to carry a magnificent, illuminating light into a world desperately in need. For years, you likely spent countless hours wondering why your inherent greatness, your undeniable potential, seemed utterly invisible to those around you. Why people consistently overlooked you, even when you quietly carried more depth, more capacity, more sheer power than they could ever perceive. Why you were perpetually underestimated in rooms where you, by divine right, should have been celebrated. Why you felt passed over, uninvited, or completely ignored, even when you had done everything impeccably right. Now, hear this truth, not just with your ears, but with every fiber of your awakened spirit. You were not rejected. You were strategically, divinely hidden. God himself, with intentional foresight, placed a sacred covering over your life, not because you were unworthy or lacking, but precisely because you were far too valuable, too precious, too significant to be revealed too soon. Indeed, heaven itself meticulously hid you, much like ancient, wise rulers would painstakingly conceal their true heirs, protecting them fiercely, surrounding them with an impenetrable veil of secrecy, until the precise, divinely ordained moment of their unveiling. Your hidden season, chosen one, was not a period of neglect, but a time that was profoundly intentional, utterly holy, and exquisitely strategic. You were hidden because your magnificent calling, your unique assignment, required sacred time to grow and deepen without the interference of external voices or premature demands. Divine assignments, by their very nature, demand profound depth and an unshakable foundation. God was actively shaping you, honing your spirit, far away from the distracting noise of the world, the draining drama of human interactions, and the seductive allure of counterfeit paths. This divine separation ensured that absolutely nothing could twist or corrupt the purity of your true purpose. Your spirit needed quiet, sacred time to mature, to solidify its essence in silence. Had you stepped fully into the immense weight of your destiny too early, before your preparation was complete, the sheer magnitude of it would have, without a doubt, utterly crushed you. You desperately needed to cultivate profound wisdom, to develop unwavering emotional stability, to gain crystal-clear spiritual clarity, and to establish an unshakable inner grounding. As Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 so aptly states, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven." You absolutely needed the sacred solitude of that hidden season to learn, profoundly and unequivocally, who you truly are, before the world and its fleeting opinions could attempt to rename or redefine you. Your extraordinary gifts, nascent and powerful, required time to sharpen and mature, unmarred by the sabotage of envious eyes. Had your full potential been unveiled too soon, some would have inevitably tried to mimic it, to control it, or, in their darkest envy, to outright extinguish it. God, in His profound wisdom, kept you carefully hidden precisely so your unique talents could blossom and grow unmanipulated, pure in their divine origin. Your voice, destined to carry great weight, needed dedicated time to gain its undeniable power and resonant authority. That formidable strength had to be meticulously forged through the crucible of trials, tempered by the fire of heartbreaks, deepened in the profound silence of introspection, and illuminated by divine revelations. Even when, in those arduous moments, it felt as though you were perpetually behind, tragically forgotten, or hopelessly delayed, the liberating truth was this: you were never truly behind. You were being exquisitely preserved. God planted you deep within the earth of His purpose, ensuring that no storm, no matter how fierce, could ever uproot you later. He intentionally allowed you to grow inwardly first, to cultivate an unshakable foundation that would withstand anything. You were never forgotten. You were vigilantly guarded. There were people and places that, on the surface, looked appealing and promising, but were, in truth, not good for your destiny. Heaven, with discerning foresight, actively blocked certain doors, knowing that exposure at the wrong time would have invited unnecessary spiritual warfare and draining distraction. You were never delayed. You were being meticulously prepared. Every tear you shed was not in vain. It was potent training. Every disappointment you faced was not a setback. It was a sacred refinement. Every lonely season you endured was not isolation. It was spiritual conditioning, honing your spirit for what was to come. Therefore, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6 verse 9. And now, chosen one, the long-awaited, divinely appointed time has finally, resoundingly come. You feel it vibrating in your bones. Your spirit, deep within, knows it with an absolute certainty. The very atmosphere around you is subtly, yet undeniably shifting, because your season of magnificent revealing has powerfully begun. The sacred covering, carefully placed upon you, is now majestically lifting. The spiritual camouflage, designed to obscure your true essence, is gracefully fading away. Your hidden identity, so long held in sacred trust, is now bravely stepping into the vibrant open. Prepare for this. People who once overlooked you, who passed you by without a second glance, will inexplicably start to notice your presence, drawn by an invisible magnetism. Those who once ignorantly underestimated you will feel an undeniable, palpable shift in the energy of a room the moment you enter it. Individuals who, in their blindness, could not perceive your profound value before will suddenly, intuitively, sense your inherent authority and the gravitas of your spirit. The profound inner transformation you've been experiencing, the crystalline emotional clarity that now guides your decisions, and the heightened intuition that has become an undeniable part of your being. These are not ordinary occurrences. What has been unfolding within you was not merely a fleeting phase or a psychological shift. No, beloved, it was nothing less than a divine activation. Your awakening was the very sound, the sacred signal, that heaven itself had been patiently, expectantly waiting to hear. It was a resonant trumpet blast that echoed majestically through the entire spiritual realm, proclaiming, "The heir is awake, the chosen one has gloriously risen." And precisely in that pivotal moment, when your inner world began its miraculous, irrevocable change, the very atmosphere around you, the fabric of your external reality, began powerfully to respond in kind. Indeed, your powerful awakening manifested itself in a myriad of unmistakable ways. When you suddenly began seeing beyond people's superficial masks, intuitively sensing their true intentions and underlying energy without the need for lengthy explanations, that was your ancestral discernment, a gift of your forebears, powerfully turning back on within you. When your spirit developed the profound ability to feel the presence of danger, the subtle threads of deception, or the unsettling vibration of dishonesty long before a single word was ever spoken, that was ancient spiritual intelligence, an inherited wisdom, reactivating deep within your being. When you became exquisitely more sensitive to the energetic currents around you, feeling inexplicably drained by certain individuals and remarkably lifted by others, that was your royal spirit, vibrant and pure, remembering its inherent sacredness and vehemently refusing to mix or align with anything misaligned or impure. As the scripture in 1 John 4 verse 1 wisely instructs, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God." When your old social circles, once comforting, began to feel like ill-fitting garments, and when individuals who once felt intimately close started to inexplicably drift away, understand that this was heaven itself, with loving precision, pulling you out of environments that simply could not contain or support the magnitude of your rising identity. When your spirit began to feel profoundly out of place in rooms where you once felt utterly comfortable and at ease, that was the undeniable sign that your soul was powerfully outgrowing your former self, shedding old skins. And when you began to crave solitude, not out of a sense of sadness or loneliness, but from a deep, undeniable spiritual necessity, that was God Himself meticulously separating you, profoundly cleansing you, and exquisitely preparing you for deeper revelation. Every shift you experienced carried a profound message. Every discomfort you felt was a sacred sign. Every sudden burst of clarity was divine confirmation. Your awakening, chosen one, was never a random occurrence. It was, in its deepest essence, a powerful, sacred, royal activation. In the vast, unseen spiritual world, the momentous sound of your awakening reverberated, traveling far beyond the confines of earthly perception. Angels, with celestial joy, recognized it instantly. Your proud ancestors, watching from the spiritual realms, rejoiced with an echoing chorus of triumph. Darkness, in its deepest pits, trembled and feared it, and heaven itself, with majestic power, responded to it immediately. For when a chosen one, a truly anointed soul, awakens to their divine truth, the entire spiritual realm, in its intricate complexity, powerfully adjusts to accommodate this monumental shift. When a royal spirit, long veiled, finally rises, ancient authority, rightful and profound, is instantaneously restored. When a hidden bloodline, pulsing with divine purpose, finally activates, destiny itself, with precision and grace, slides perfectly into its predestined position. This awakening, therefore, is not merely a personal experience. It is profoundly generational, deeply ancestral, vibrantly prophetic, and undeniably divine. Your awakening, chosen one, is the resonant sound of ancient chains decisively breaking, of debilitating cycles powerfully ending, of true identities being magnificently restored, and of rightful, inherent power victoriously returning. As John 8 verse 36 declares, "If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed." And your awakening is that freedom manifest. More than just an awakening, it is the resounding announcement that the very kingdom within you, that spiritual kingdom, sovereign and eternal, which you inherited through centuries of unwavering faith and relentless spiritual warfare, is now powerfully reactivating. It is majestically reclaiming its throne, firmly reclaiming its rightful place, and boldly reclaiming its intrinsic authority both within and through your life. Chosen One, the hidden royal bloodline is no longer in a state of slumber. It is gloriously rising, and in this pivotal hour, it is rising undeniably, profoundly, through you. If you pay close attention, with awakened eyes, to the unfolding tapestry of what is happening around you right now, you will begin to unmistakably see it. Things that once felt stubbornly stuck are now powerfully shifting. Situations that felt like an unbearable weight are perceptibly getting lighter, their oppressive grip loosening. Paths that seemed irrevocably blocked are, quietly and miraculously, opening before you. This is not mere luck, nor is it random timing or fortunate coincidence. No, beloved, this is divine alignment in its most potent form. Heaven itself is actively, meticulously rearranging people, strategically repositioning places, and precisely orchestrating opportunities, all designed to usher you seamlessly into your rightful appointed position. What you are experiencing in this season is a profound spiritual acceleration, a sacred push from the divine, a complete repositioning meticulously engineered by God Himself. For, as Habakkuk 2 verse 3 wisely teaches, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It speaks of the end, and does not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it. Because it will surely come, it will not delay." You will begin to discern, with growing clarity, the right people now gracefully entering your life, individuals imbued with profound purpose, deep wisdom, and an undeniable spiritual maturity. These are not casual acquaintances or fleeting connections. No, these are destiny connections, divinely appointed relationships meant to fuel your journey. They will see and recognize your inherent value, not because you perform for them, but because their spirits resonate with your true essence. They will carry the very keys to unlock the next, magnificent chapter of your divine assignment. You will witness doors miraculously beginning to open, effortlessly, without any need for you to force them or strive. Opportunities you never actively pursued will, astonishingly, find their way to you. Rooms, environments of influence you once never even imagined entering, will begin to quietly, powerfully call your name. These profound openings are undeniable evidence, a celestial signature, that your name is already being spoken, recognized, and honored in places your earthly feet have not yet even walked. Simultaneously, as you step into this new season, feel the undeniable intensification of divine protection encircling you. Certain relationships, no longer aligned with your elevated vibration, will gracefully end, often without the need for lengthy explanations or dramatic farewells. Invitations that once filled your calendar will simply cease to arrive. Certain environments, once familiar, will suddenly feel profoundly wrong, discordant with your spirit's new frequency. Miraculously, obstacles that once loomed large will begin to dissolve and disappear before they ever even have a chance to reach you. Heaven, in its infinite wisdom, is actively tightening its sacred shield around you, precisely because of the immense magnitude of the destiny you are now stepping into. Old, oppressive burdens are falling away from your shoulders, like dust. Stubborn patterns of thought or behavior that you previously could not break are now effortlessly dissolving. Heavy emotional weights long carried are remarkably lifting. The fog of confusion is rapidly fading. Toxic cycles, ancestral and personal, are finally coming to a decisive, liberating close. Understand this profoundly. What once held you captive, what once bound you, now simply cannot attach itself to the powerful, royal, and divinely free being you are majestically becoming. Indeed, a palpable, almost strange favor will begin to unmistakably surround you, like an invisible mantle. Situations and endeavors will work out with astonishing speed, far faster than you could ever anticipate. Blessings, abundant and unexpected, will begin to flow into your life from the most unforeseen sources. A profound, supernatural ease will gracefully replace the old, grinding resistance you once knew. Where others around you wrestle and toil with strained effort, you, chosen one, will begin to glide with effortless grace. Where others strive with exhaustion, you will flow with an inherent, divine momentum. A powerful, new sense of unwavering direction will rise from within you, guiding your every step. You will gain an exponentially deeper, crystal-clear understanding of who you truly are, precisely where God is sending you, and with absolute clarity what He is asking you to do. You will feel divinely guided, powerfully pulled, and intimately instructed like never before. For as Psalm 37 verse 23 beautifully promises, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delights in His way." God is actively, purposefully moving you into significant roles and pivotal environments where your inherent royal identity will not just be welcomed, but desperately needed. Your very presence, chosen one, will now carry undeniable weight, resonating with a spiritual gravitas. Your spirit will emanate an intrinsic authority that commands respect. Your words, once perhaps hesitant, will now carry profound impact, cutting through noise and doubt. People will find themselves inexplicably drawn to your wisdom, often without consciously knowing why, simply sensing a depth they cannot explain. They will feel an unusual sense of peace, strength, and conviction in your presence, for your spirit will minister to theirs. Doors that remained stubbornly locked for years, defying all prior attempts, will now swing open effortlessly, simply because you, with your awakened spiritual authority, finally walk toward them. Heaven is no longer passively waiting. It is actively, decisively establishing your rightful influence in the world. Your unseen throne, that spiritual seat of leadership and profound assignment, is being meticulously restored, piece by magnificent piece. Your purpose, once a faint whisper, is becoming startlingly clearer. Your calling, once a gentle hum, is now getting undeniably louder, a clarion call to action. Your steps, once hesitant, are becoming divinely ordered and precise. What once seemed utterly impossible now feels undeniably inevitable. What once felt like a distant, unattainable dream is now powerfully unfolding directly in front of your awakened eyes. Chosen one, hear this truth, etched into the very fabric of time. This, right now, is the magnificent living fulfillment of the ancient prophecy. The 1,000-year word, divinely spoken over your esteemed lineage, is no longer merely a promise residing in some distant future. No, it is powerfully, vibrantly happening, actively manifesting through your profound awakening, through your courageous obedience, and indeed, through your very existence, in this sacred present moment. Everything around you is harmoniously aligning. Everything is profoundly shifting. Everything is meticulously falling into its divine place under the sovereign hand of God Himself. I need you, absolutely need you, to receive this monumental truth not with hesitation, but with an unshakable confidence, with an untamed courage, and with every fiber of your inherent spiritual authority. Hear this truth, let it permeate your very core. You are not ordinary. Absolutely nothing about your magnificent life, your arduous journey, your profound pain, or your luminous spirit is average or mundane. You are not a cosmic mistake. You are not a random occurrence in the vastness of existence. You are not merely just another soul passing anonymously through the corridors of time. No, chosen one, you are a living, breathing prophetic fulfillment. You are a spiritual continuation, an unbroken thread of divine purpose. You are a sacred, divine appointment, orchestrated before time began. You are a long-awaited rising, anticipated for generations. You are the powerful awakening of a lineage that has been strategically hidden for centuries. You are the triumphant return of a spiritual kingdom darkness could not erase. You are the rightful heir that history, in its attempts to obscure, tried to bury forever. You are the very one your ancestors saw in their most vivid dreams. You are the one they passionately cried out for in their most fervent prayers. You are the one they fiercely protected through unimaginable sacrifices. You are the one the enemy has, for centuries, profoundly feared, because the adversary understood, with chilling clarity, that if you ever truly healed from your wounds, if you ever authentically remembered who you truly are, if you ever fully aligned with your ancient, divine assignment, then absolutely nothing, in any realm of the spirit, could ever stop the magnificent, world-changing work that God would accomplish through you. As the timeless wisdom of Esther for verse 14 asks, "Who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Chosen one, that question now finds its resounding answer in you. You are awakening, truly awakening, and because of this sacred emergence, everything, absolutely everything around you and within you is powerfully shifting. Your spirit feels undeniably stronger, a direct result of your divine inheritance fully activating within your core. Your inner voice, once a quiet whisper, is now magnificently louder, for your sacred purpose is calling you with an undeniable urgency. Your dreams, once perhaps fleeting, are now sharper, more vivid, more prophetic, because your destiny is dynamically unfolding before your very eyes. Your intuition, that inner knowing, is exponentially deeper, for ancient wisdom, long dormant, is profoundly resurfacing within the depths of your being. You are the magnificent rise of a royal bloodline. Understand this. Not a superficial, cheap earthly royalty, but a profound, eternal, spiritual one. As 1 Peter 2 verse 9 declares, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." You come from a lineage indelibly marked by divine favor, profoundly strengthened by countless acts of survival, and eternally defined by an intrinsic spiritual authority and an unshakable resilience. Everything you have courageously walked through, every tumultuous storm, every painful setback, every piercing betrayal, every long, lonely season had one singular, overarching assignment: to meticulously prepare you for the spiritual throne God himself reserved specifically for you. Not a literal, earthly throne adorned with jewels, but a majestic place of unparalleled influence, profound impact, powerful leadership, and unyielding spiritual authority in your generation. You are gloriously rising into your true, magnificent identity. You are powerfully rising into that profound and singular station, meticulously woven into the very fabric of existence. A sacred trust bestowed upon your nascent soul by the cosmic architects long before the stars aligned for your earthly debut. It is the inimitable niche, the divinely appointed purpose, specifically designed for your unique spirit to inhabit and flourish within, a testament to a grander plan unfolding.